Shudder does these great docuseries, sometimes on director, sometimes on horror in general. And of course, I thought, what else could they say about horror? Because they've done so many of them already, like the 101 Scariest Moments in Horror Movies and Queer for Fear and several others. Well, this one is called Horror's Greatest Movies to Die For. Like I said, I thought they were at the bottom of the barrel with these things, but I was wrong because this is a great docuseries. And one of the reasons why it's a hell of a lot of fun is its diverse topics for series episodes. The first episode is tropes and cliches. The second episode is giant monsters. The third episode is Japanese horror. The fourth is horror comedies, which I enjoyed more than I thought I would because I'm not a comedy fan, but I didn't really think of some of the movies they would classify as comedies as being more comedy than horror. Like one was Reanimator. And then the last episode is Stephen King adaptations. Which honestly, they should have done a two-parter because it wasn't long enough. Another reason this works for Shudder is their choosing of commentators. And some of the commentators on this are Kate Siegel, Tanarive Due, who is a horror author, Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son, Alex Winter, which is a kind of eclectic, but he's done some genre work. He's the guy that was in Bill and Ted with Keanu Reeves. Okay. Tom Holland, who is the movie director that did Fright Night, Mick Garris, another movie director, and David Dastmalchian, the guy that hosts the Fango Chainsaw Awards and was just in Late Night with the Devil, as well as other genre things he's done. In my notes, I've got that the Giant Monsters episode was one of my favorites. However, I was surprised by the comedy one, like I said. Its focus on Stephen King's contributions to the genres was just a no-brainer. I'm surprised another show hasn't done that already. And like I said, I think it should have been two parts because some folks that I read were also upset that they didn't include certain things like It and The Stand. But really, It and The Stand were more mini-series and not, movies, unless you do the newer It movies. But like they don't touch on The Stand at all, really.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's even though Mick Garris was there and Mick Garris directed it.
Yeah. And it wasn't a bad version. It's a pretty good version of that.
No, but they do concentrate on Sleepwalkers, which was a Mick Garris film that sucked. So I guess they did that as recompense for not mentioning The Stand and including him. I don't know. It was a little off there. But another thing that you will absolutely love is they do stop animated segments in between the topics with little monsters watching movies and stuff, little Draculas and stuff. Yeah, very, very cool. It's very old school, and I think you would like it. So, actually, I guess Rotten Tomatoes doesn't appear to rate these type of things, so I don't have a score for it.
Is this a Shudder collaboration, or is this a Shudder produced? Did they buy it?
I'm sure it's produced. I'm pretty sure all of these are produced by Shudder. Now, the Panico documentary on Dario Argento and that one I mentioned on Fulci, those are not Shudder produced. I think those are just films they bought. But these that are like series with multiple episodes, I'm pretty sure are produced by Shudder.
Yeah, because I remember you watched one and like, Nicotero did it or whatever, and he was one of the commentators or whatever.
Well, he was one of the commentators on Eli Roth's History of Horror, and that is not Shudder produced, but that is AMC produced, and they own Shudder, so.
Yeah, no.
Because it aired on AMC
they definitely
first.
found their niche with Shudder. Shudder is what, I've said it repeatedly. Shudder is what the Sci-Fi Network should have been. Or Sci-Fi Channel should have been and should be, but it's not. They respect their genre and show a bunch of everything. And
even the schlock that they know is schlock. Yeah.
And,
for sure.
And it's just such a much better done channel than Sci-Fi.
Can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.